Hey guys, it's Reynad back with my first GVG deck for the website. This one is a Mage Tempo deck. So a Tempo deck is a deck that's not completely controlling, not completely aggressive, and it's not really mid-range either. It's a deck that basically tries to trade cards for mana, and then once you get a mana advantage or like a speed advantage against your opponent, you kind of snowball that into a win by just kind of making them always be behind before you can end the game. It's not really suited to going into long attrition fights with Warrior, and it's not really suited to being just a hyper-aggressive burn deck that just kills somebody on turn 6. It's kind of like a deck where you want to get board control, like most other decks in Hearthstone, but then you basically just play things faster than your opponent does with, the help of Kirin Mage. You spend less mana to kill things than they spent playing it with cards like Flame Cannon. So in general, that's what a tempo deck tries to do. So let's go through some of the card choices here, just kind of one by one. First of all, it's got a decent curve of creatures, right? We start with Mana Worm as the only one-drop minion. Then we've got Unstable Portal, Blood Mage, Mad Scientist, and one Snow Chugger for kind of turn 2 plays that are very proactive. Unstable Portal is essentially a creature because, you're just going to play it whenever you have 2 mana, just like you would with a minion. Duplicate plus Mirror Entity to go with the Kirin Mage and Mad Scientist. That's a incredible tempo swing when you manage to actually Kirin Secret out. Just getting a 4/3 plus the 0 mana secret is just insane for 3 mana. There's almost nothing in the game, or there is nothing in the game that gives you that much board presence or stuff for 3 mana as the Kirin combo. Then we've got, the curve goes kind of higher. We've got Water Elemental, Bomb Lobber, Loatheb for kind of the mid-rangey threats in the deck, and then we've got some finishers in Toshli, Archmage, Dr. Boom, Elixstraza. And of course that's rounded out by Fireballs, Frostbolts, and one Ice Lance for some burn spells. So, the reason for the cards, let's just kind of go through it. Mana Worm, of course, one of the most efficient 1-drops in the game. Fantastic for a deck like this. It's pretty much a 1 mana, like 2/3, and, it threatens to be like a 4/3. Just a fantastic 1-drop. We're playing Flame Cannon and Frostbolt. Flame Cannon is a newer card in the game. This is essentially, like, you can't go to the face like Frostbolt can, but it's kind of like a 2 mana deadly shot, which is incredibly efficient. It lets you save your burn for their face, because you'd rather not use direct damage to kill minions. Fireball's a lot better when it says win the game rather than destroy a Druid of the Claw. So it's better to hold on to burn, and Flame Cannon lets us do that. If we're ever behind on board, it's just an immediate 4 damage to help clean something out of the way. And of course can deal with pretty much anything on turn 2, and it's still pretty good later. Your hero power can clean out like Spectral Spiders, lots of small minions that you don't want to hit. Frostbolt, of course, one of the better mage cards. Great removal, great for finishing the game. Unstable Portal, in my article for PC Gamer, this was the card that I voted the #1 card in the entire set for any class. I think it's completely imbalanced. It is just such a ridiculously powerful card. In the worst case scenario, yeah, you get a 2 mana 1/1, which is not very exciting, but the opportunity cost is very low because most of the time you're going to at least break even, or you're going to play like a 3 mana minion for 2 mana, and most creatures in the game are pretty broken if they cost just 1 less mana. So on top of that, you just get a lot of free wins if you get like random Elixstraza for 6 mana, or like just any pretty much big guy, Savannah Highmane. Blood Mage, because we have a decent amount of burn and Flame Cannon, of course, to kill minions, so it's kind of like the best loot hoarder for this deck possible. But don't be too afraid to just play this guy turn 2 if you happen to have it. You don't need to save it for the spell power to matter. It's just later in the game when you draw it, it has much more effect than something like a loot hoarder would have. Mad Scientist, of course, one of the best creatures in the game, and at its best in Mage, because Mage has the most expensive secrets, so the cards you're getting off of it have the highest value possible of any Mad Scientist deck. We're playing Duplicate and Mirror Entity to go along with it. Mirror Entity because it really forces your opponent to play in a different way or just get completely wrecked. Because when you play Mirror Entity for like 0 off a Kirin and you get like a Sludge Belcher or just some big minion that they have to play to stabilize, you're up so much mana. Your opponent, like, you basically free rolled 5 mana to play the same minion that they did. That's where you get a lot of your tempo. Duplicate is here as kind of like the card draw mechanism of the deck. You see, we don't play Arcane Intellect, we don't play Azure Drake, we don't play Loot Hoarder. So Duplicate just gives us more stuff to play, so you don't run out of cards. Duplicate is like a little bit more specialized of an Arcane Intellect that you can get off of Mad Scientist. Then we got Snow Chugger, just another 2-drop to sort of fill out the curve. I started with 2, but I needed to make room for a couple more high-end cards, so I ended up cutting 1 Snow Chugger and 1 Ice Lance because of that. But he's a very solid minion, good at controlling the board. which is a 2/3 early. He's very strong against weapon classes, of course. If he ever gets to attack, they're just locked out of attacking ever. If they kill it with like a Fiery War Axe, it means you have a full turn where they'll be frozen, and they won't be able to kill another minion of yours with the second charge right away. So another card that's just great at buying you time, essentially. We play one copy of Icelands here to go with the Water Elementals and the Snow Chugger, and the Antonidas a little bit. A lot of times I just use this to freeze a big minion so they can't attack with it for a turn, which is a great use if you can just use it like on a Savannah High main or something. But it's also very flexible in that, you know, you can go to the face. You use it with Frostbolt, just finish them out of nowhere. It's one more burn spell when your plan is to just aim stuff at their face and win that way. Then we've got the Kirintor, of course, to go through the secrets. Kind of explained that guy already. 2 Fireballs, of course, just as efficient removal. We're not doing too much else on 4 mana, so a lot of times you will play it as removal on turn 4, but you know, a lot of times as the card just wins you the game, you get them low enough. This is the card that lets you capitalize on getting an early board lead and dealing a lot of free damage to your opponent. Then we got Water Elemental, one of the more efficient 4-drop minions in the game. Just like Snow Chugger, that guy can lock them out of weapons, of course. Just a 3/6 or 4 is amazing. It's great against little minions, it's great against big minions, it enables Icelands, just a fantastic creature all around in Mage. Bomb Lobber, another addition from GVG, one of the best 5-drops. This guy was also in my top 10 list. It's kind of like the new Sludge Belcher, the guy that we'll see in all sorts of decks. But essentially what's so great about Bomb Lobber is that it's like a neutral fire elemental for 5 mana. You get that free like flame cannon. It's just flame cannon with a 3/3 attached. So I've been liking this a lot more than Azure Drake. Because a lot of times the problem with a card like Azure Drake is if you're behind on board, you don't really want to play a 4/4 and just take a million more damage. Bomb Lobber can help you stabilize the board. The randomness of this ability isn't a huge deal when your hero power is so good at clearing out the like spectral spiders and little minions. So most of the time you're going to get the full 4 damage, you're going to kill a big guy. It's just a fantastic tempo play. Much in the same way that Fire Elemental is in Shaman. Lotheb is great, of course, another tempo-oriented card. It just limits what your opponent can do. If you're ahead on board and you play Lotheb, you know, just like with every other deck, you're probably going to win the game. And that's the goal of this deck, is to be ahead. So this is a fantastic Lotheb deck. So definitely like the best 5-drop in the deck, you know, between the two. Toshli here. Some people will be surprised to see this guy over like a Sylvanas or a Karen Bloodhoof, but the reason I play him in Mage is because you want another 6-drop finisher, but he also enables Archmage Antonidas on his own. Without Toshli, you're not going to get spare parts. You're going to have a harder time playing a turn 8 Antonidas. You know, sometimes you'll draw like a Flame Cannon or a Frostbolt or an Unstable Portal later in the game, and you can play Antonidas on 9, but a lot of times you do need the spare part, because you don't really want to just play Antonidas as a 5/7. He'll just die. You want to make sure you get the fireball off that guy most games that he comes into play. So Toshli helps enable that. And on top of that, it's just a great minion. Compare it to Karen Bloodhoof or Boulder Fist Ogre. It's like a Boulder Fist Ogre that draws you a card, because a spare part is like half a card. You get 2 spare parts. Just a very great finisher in my opinion in Mage because of the synergy with Antonidas. Dr. Boom is kind of the breakout legendary so far, at least in the first week of GVG. We're seeing this guy in Warrior Control, all sorts of control decks. Much better than most people, except for Strifecrow gave him credit for. Strifecrow was always talking up this guy before the set was released, but yeah, Dr. Boom's been fantastic. It's good when you're ahead, it's good when you're behind. It's just a great 7-drop card that really limits your opponent's options. Like, attacking all the creatures into it isn't great for them. Letting it live isn't great for them. So it really is just one of the probably the best like 7-mana finisher right now. And then we do play Alexstrasza. This is the card that might make the least sense in the deck, but I've been a big fan of it. It gives you healing, which can let you win games that no other card can against matchups like Hunter. But it also works really well with all the burn spells we play. Like sometimes the game does go long, and you'll be sitting with like a Fireball and a Frostbolt in hand. And you know, playing Alexstrasza just puts them in a situation where they're dead if you draw one more burn spell, and that comes up a lot. So another nice thing about Alexstrasza is if you have anything in play at all and you're about to lose the board next turn, you just slam Alexstrasza, target them, send all your creatures at their face. And even if they kill all your stuff, they're probably going to be at like 10 or 9, and you know the Frostbolt Fireball will kill them. So Alexstrasza has definitely been performing very well so far, and I plan to keep it in the deck for a while to come, even though it's not necessarily at its best in a tempo deck. It's more traditionally a control card. But that's the deck. Let's go play some games. I think it's really fun to play. There's a lot of options, a lot of room for misplays too. But yeah, hopefully with the guide and the videos, I can kind of show you guys why I like the deck so much, and maybe you'll enjoy playing it as much as I do. So yeah, let's get to the games.